Good morning. How are you all doing? I'm going to start with my comments this morning. I hope you had a restful evening. I really do. I'm going to start with my comments that were left for the LeAndria Johnson video and then going on up from there. So the first comment came from Neil 9Music 07. Good morning to you. Their comment reads, praying for her for real deliverance in her life. There is a pain she is clearly trying to drink away. Also praying these leaders speak life and love and let God make his moves in her life. That's beautiful. I agree. Um there's always been a pain personally I could hear in Leandra's voice when she sang. There was always like her singing was resting on pain. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was definitely pain there. When I saw the Periscope live, I was on that live, and the she moved, and everyone ended up seeing the bottle of tequila that was literally in the bed with her. Literally, she had the liquor in the bed with her, tequila. And so that was the confirmation for me because no one drinks that way unless they're trying to escape from something. And you're right. There's something she's trying to drink away. You're absolutely right. And she does need deliverance and she deserves to be sober. She deserves to be free, but the most important part is that these leaders have to stop exploiting her pain, exploiting her addiction, and ignoring the person. They're looking at the voice. They're looking at the way she sings. They are not looking at her as a person, a living, breathing person. And that's a problem. Because if they care anything about Leandria, they should have been having benefit concerts or something to minister and pour into her, not to get her to sing, but people coming together for a benefit dinner, benefit concert, to encourage her and pay for her to go somewhere to get world class care. That's what they should have done. They haven't done that. Instead, they've used her for them to be able to get money. And she's aware of that. And I'm sure that's hurtful as well. She knows that they're using her. She knows that. And it's sad. Thank you for your comment. Hi, Dr. Lauren 668. Good morning to you. Good to see you. Her comment reads, I'm tired of her. She also wrote, Jamie Foxx spoke to her directly. I think he held a prayer session for her too. That's beautiful. It's powerful when you see that an actual secular artist who started in the church, he had enough wisdom to know that we need to get together and we need to do a prayer session for her. We need to get together and do corporate prayer. It is alarming that he knows this, but for whatever reason, the church doesn't recognize this is something that they need to do in order to support her and show her actual love, genuine, real agape love. It's sad to me that the church seemed to not know what to do outside of exploiting and using her. They don't know what else to do. They simply don't. Um, is her fan base enough to force in AE reckoning and require the venues not to book her, save her life? Um, no. Her fan base, they're not able to force it. They're not. And not only that, they wouldn't do it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you why I said they will not do it. We're in a place as Christians and as the body in America right now where we ascribe to something unbiblical, right? And it's literally almost Luciferian in its nature. We really don't believe in holding people accountable, giving them time to rest, giving them time to sit down, giving them time to heal. We kind of don't care. There is no other way I can say it. We really don't care if someone's an addict. We really don't care if someone's cheating. We really don't care if they're stealing. We continue to let these people be in front of us. And that's the saddest part. So, with that said, they will never ever get to the point that they actually put something in place where she's no longer hired to perform anywhere. We just, as the body, we don't have that level of integrity. We don't have that level of discipline. We don't have that level of accountability. I unfortunately I believe in calling a thing a thing. And that's what the thing is for the church. We don't hold them. We don't hold people accountable. We just let them get back up there and look us right in the face, and we just carry on like nothing happened. People abuse the word. And it seems like lately the only scriptures they know are the ones that justify people who are out of the will of God, who are not believers, to remain in the midst of us, not only in the midst of us, but lead us. Why would you keep allowing someone in that state to perform gospel music? Why would you do that? Does that make sense to any of you? Like, her voice supposed to be entering into worship, right? Right. One moment. I got to see something. That with all okay, I'm back. So, um, like I was saying, we're just not those type of people, right? So, I want to give you a testimony, right? Uh, when I was in Memphis, I did some work to assist a nonprofit, and they're doing extraordinary work. And the pastor leading that organization, he called me when I came back, and he said, "You remember the lady you were speaking with out there in the vestibule when you were here?" And I said, "Yeah, I remember her. She was a homeless lady, right?" So I was like, "Yeah, I remember." And he said, "She came back Sunday." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, she came back Sunday, and she tried to sit at the back, and I called her to the front. I wanted to pray for her and everything." He said, "But when she came up, she requested to go to rehab, right? And when she did that, he prayed for her and everything, and then she asked him a very odd question. She wanted to know, could she sing a song? And he allowed her to sing. He allowed her to sing. The way he described what came out of her, he said she's not a singer. He said, but you could hear her pouring her heart out. You could hear her being renewed, refreshed in her faith. You can hear it. You could hear it. And so at the church, he decided to ask her, when do you want to go? And she said, "I go today if you can take me." And sure enough, he took her, and she's in rehab now. And we've been consistently tracking to make sure she's still there. But we've also been tracking to put things in place once she comes out of the program as well. But she is communicating with the pastor and his wife. She reach out every day. She calls them. They go out there for their visits. She's allowed to have on the weekend. And so what I'm getting to is that's a pastor who are supporting someone within a struggle of addiction. That's what it looked like. I'm going to get in my car. I'm not only going to pray for you, I'm going to allow you to pour your love and your heart out on the Lord and the Christ, showing that you believe him. And then I'm going to take you to the resource you said that you needed. Right. That's what it's about. That's not what they're doing with LeAndria. This pastor and his wife had absolutely nothing to gain from this woman. All they know is that she mustered up enough for something to come into the church just for a service, not just coming out for the various things that they provide for the homeless. No, she actually came to church, and she was able that same day, that Sunday, she went to rehab. That same day, they went ahead and took her, and she's still there. I said that for a reason. Those are people who actually care about the well being of the person and know that they have a heart for Christ, but they also know at the same time they're not in the right position at this time, spiritually, mentally, or physically. That's just something I want to tell y'all about. And you know who I thought about when he was telling me about her singing and how it literally led to everyone in the church weeping and praising the Lord. He said it opened a different type of dimension of worship for everyone who were in the building, in the sanctuary at that time. And I just thought that was a beautiful testimony. I decided to share it with you guys because of what's going on right now with, LeAndria. Um, hey, Praise Queen, how you doing this morning? What's been going on with you? Our comment reads, "Good morning, sis. These so-called faith leaders have taken the attitude of who going to check me, boo. Come on now. Literally. Nobody holds them accountable. No, ma'am, they don't. When it comes to Leandra Johnson, this is all about business. See, that's the thing. Like, since COVID, you're seeing pastors function in a manner of desperation. That's how I see it. That's the only way I can phrase it. They're moving and behaving like they're desperate and they're operating in fear. I do believe that a lot of them, COVID shed the light on those who shouldn't be in ministry and those who should be in ministry. I do believe that COVID provided an opportunity for those who were not truly called, and they weren't sent, they just went. I believe that was an opportunity for them to dissolve their ministries and go back to work at that time. The problem is because of pride, they didn't do that. They continue to stand there, and their churches, their testimonies are being diminished. A lot of them, I believe, they should have come together, like two or three churches merged together, or four churches merged together to maintain their flock and also teach the lesson of unity. But it didn't happen. So they do business ventures like hiring people like Leandria. And I think it's sad to me that as leaders, they haven't received any revelation or insight about how to generate revenue for their ministries outside of grants. Like, that's so weird to me. Or grants or getting it out of the pocket of the people. I'm telling you, anytime God does something, he give you a strategy for it. I'm telling you. And they're just bad business owners. To be honest with you, if you're to the point you have to exploit an addict, yeah, you're not good at business at all. They don't care about her body or soul. As long as she can fill the seats and the offering basket is all good. That's come on, man. You ever heard the saying all money isn't good money? See, I believe when people do things like having that girl participate, I don't think those offering or money, I don't believe they're blessed. I don't believe that. I don't. I believe that it's cursed. I do. Because money is one of our tools. That's what we're giving it for. It's for tools. And it can't be blessed when you're using it to destroy people. It's sis, you 100% right. And Okay, you got another part of your comment. Hold on. I know that you're a praying woman, and I am asking you to please keep me in your prayers. Absolutely, sis. My dad is in hospice. Oh no, and not doing well. I don't want to, but I might have to put him into a facility. Need wisdom in this area. Thank you, and God bless. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've been through this with both of my parents, and I think the hardest one was with my mom, right? In every family, there's someone that everyone depend on to make the decisions, make the hard decisions, or assume responsibility. And it sounds like you're that person, not an aunt, cousin, or someone else. It sounds like you are that person, Ruby. The hardest decision I had to make because my dad wouldn't make it, my siblings weren't wouldn't make it. It was if I was gonna do hospice for mom. Number two, where her hospice would be done at. So I went back to her house, my parents' house. I went back to my parents' house and I was laying on the couch, Ruby, and I just laid there and cried because I didn't know what decision to make. And I just prayed through them tears because I needed wisdom. I needed guidance. I felt isolated. I felt unsupported because the decision was too hard for anyone else. So the only support I had was the Lord. I'm laying there and I prayed. And all of a sudden on TV, it was this massive choir singing Let the Church Say Amen. And that song truly, truly, truly ministered to me. It did. And you know what I did? There was a piece that came when I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I need your help to help me do it. And I went ahead and stayed up the rest of the night. And I went on back to the hospital the next morning. And when I got there, I sat in the room with her, and it just came so gentle to take her home, to go ahead and take her back to the house, take her home, take her to her house. And I said, okay, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I had to call everybody and let them know, hey, uh, I found out mom can do hospice at home. I need someone to go to the house. Hospice will be delivering the bed, all of the machines and all of that. A nurse will be coming out as well to help with the palliative care of it, the pain part of it, managing, her pain. So she wasn't in pain and all of that, and, I told them this is what need to be done. So, um, I sent my ex-husband back to the house and I drew a rough little picture of how I wanted the pictures of everybody, the grandkids, her, my siblings, any picture she had, and just kind of placed them a specific way. But anyway, I got mom home, and there was a piece I had about it, because I didn't know the right decision, and there was a piece there I didn't expect. It was a hard decision, but what I'm getting to, Ruby, is that this this is a process that unless someone experienced it, they don't understand. There's no way for them to understand, Ruby. But I know this much is for certain that I'll be praying for you. And I know and believe that God will provide you with the peace, guidance, and understanding of what to do for your father. This is very profound how much you love him, because that's your dad. You only get one dad. Um, Ruby, you've assumed a tremendous responsibility. Uh, I will be praying for you, sis, because it just, just thinking about it, there, each process for each parent, it wasn't identical. That's why I can't give a clear, direct, this is what you do. No, because even I'm thinking about it, each one of them were so different of how they had to be addressed, right? So, with that said, I will be praying because there is no direct answer, but I can pose the following question: if he's living with a condition that prohibits you from being able to realistically, right, physiologically, emotionally, spiritually, keep him at home to do hospice at home, that's not a decision you should make. You have to, in all of this, that's another important part. You have to acknowledge what you can and cannot do, right? Meaning, if you know you can't do it as far as keeping them home, then don't do that, right? But if you know that he needs care that's beyond your bandwidth, then that's a hard decision you will have to make just for medical necessity, right? Another thing I don't think people know, because I know someone right now in this situation, and she's been on hospice for 2 years. So hospice isn't as rapid as people think it is, because they can be there for weeks, months, years, literally. So hospice care does, it expands a bit, and palliative care as well. Palliative care is what manages their pain to keep them comfortable, while they're living with their condition. So this isn't something easy for you at all. And I know it isn't, and tremendously painful. I am so sorry. This is probably one of the hardest things you had to take on. I definitely be praying for you, and that God gives you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and peace that surpasses all understanding, because I know that's something you need. That's why I chuckled about it. You need peace right now. You need peace and you need wisdom. You need it right now. And I know that God will provide. God provides. He does. He provides what we need in times of trouble. And something else to be encouraged by, that this is tremendously hard, but God knew why it had to be you. He knows why. He knows why. And that's something, another thing we don't understand. That's what made me frustrated, was I don't want to have to make these decisions by myself. I wanted someone to, support me in that process for both of them. And my siblings just didn't do it, Ruby. They did. So I pray you have support at this time. And if they don't, then I'll also be praying for God to send you your destiny helpers to help you through this, because this is something that most people, like I said, they don't understand unless they've been through it. Absolutely. You know what? I don't uh, feel comfortable going any further, because I do need to. I want to stop, because I do want to go pray. So I don't feel comfortable. Not comfortable, but I feel a pulling for me to go pray now, right now. I'll speak with you guys later. I love you very much. Talk to you soon.